You are listening to Personalization Outbreak, a podcast about the collapse of traditional corporate standards in today's more personalized world. I'm Glenn Llopis. I'm a leadership strategist, author, contributor to Forbes, and founder of the Leadership in the Age of Personalization movement. On this show, I'm interviewing executives across multiple sectors to find out how the balance between standardization and personalization can exist. Welcome to the Earning Conviction series, part of the Personalization Outbreak podcast. I'm Glenn Llopis. This series exists for one reason: to be the practice that redirects leaders from exhausted to unshakable, not through more information, not through another strategy, through the daily, deliberate work of earning conviction, the foundational capability that makes everything else sustainable. Now, before we get started, please click the like button below, share it with your colleagues, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and social media at Glenn Llopis. Now, today I want to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly, not the managed version of honestly. Has your career made you more yourself over time? Or has it gradually and systemically made you more like what the organization needed you to be? See, the unconventional ideas you used to bring, where did they go? The instincts you used to voice before you learned about the culture, what happened to those? See, for most leaders, if they're genuinely honest, somewhere along the way, they managed those things away. Not in one dramatic moment, in 1,000 small ones. And I call this the standardization trap. And the first thing to understand about it is this: it's not your fault. You see, early in your career, you adapted to what the organizations needed you to be. Those adaptations became armor. The professional persona you built, confident, measured, within the acceptable range, protected you, helped you advance. And over time, it became the version of you that the organization knew, rewarded, and expected. The armor is built through mechanisms so ordinary, they're invisible as mechanisms. Performance systems that reward the acceptable range, meeting cultures that move towards consensus, feedback that identifies areas for development in exactly the places where you are most distinctly yourself. Now, over time, you learn what gets rewarded. You add more armor, it fits better every year. And the person underneath it, the one with the unconventional perspective, gets quieter. See, I worked with a senior vice president who was 20 years into their career. And she said to me, "I honestly don't know what I think anymore about anything. I know what the organization thinks. I know what my boss thinks. But if you ask me what I actually believe about where this company should be going, I have to think about it for a long time." See, that's the standardization trap at its most complete stage. Now, in my book, Earning Conviction, I talk about individuality as one of the 12 foundational convictions. And this is the conviction that most directly addresses what we're talking about today. Earning the conviction to unlock what makes each person, including yourself, exceptional. See, individuality in leadership is not about self-expression for its own sake. It's actually a strategic capability. Here's what I mean by that. The most effective teams I've worked with across Fortune 500 companies, healthcare systems, and universities, including startups, share one constant trait. They are not collections of people who all think the same way. They are collections of people who bring something distinct and who have developed the trust to let those distinct perspectives collide productively. The diversity of genuine perspective is what generates genuine insight. Let me repeat that. The diversity of genuine perspective is what generates genuine insight. But you cannot contribute a genuine perspective if you've spent years systemically editing it out. See, when leaders suppress their individuality, even for the best professional reasons, they don't just lose something personal, they remove it from their team. The very thing that would have made that team irreplaceable. Now, in my book, the chapter on courage includes what I call the 3 words practice. 3 words. I don't know. Most leaders avoid those 3 words because they believe admitting uncertainty undermines their authority. Here's what I've watched happen instead. The leader who performs certainty draws all the decisions towards himself because the team learns that uncertainty is not welcome. The leader who admits uncertainty creates space for the team to step forward with the answers, the analysis, the creative solutions. But more than that, the leader who admits uncertainty gives the team permission to be honest too. And honesty is the foundation of every genuine breakthrough I've ever witnessed in an organization. Removing the armor of performed certainty is not a weakness. It is one of the most sophisticated leadership moves available to you. 3 questions for you to sit with. First, think back to the beginning of your career, before you fully understood the culture, before you learned what got rewarded. What did you believe about leadership then that you've gradually stopped saying out loud? Second, is there a perspective you hold about your organization, albeit a strategy, its culture, its direction, that you've never fully shared with anyone who has the power to act on it? What stopped you? Third, in the last month, was there a moment when you started to say something honest, felt the pull to manage it, and chose the managed version? What would have happened if you said the true thing? You don't need to answer that out loud, but you do need to be honest with yourself. The capabilities most organizational systems trained you to optimize for, consistent, predictable, well organized output, those are exactly what this era of AI does well. The armor you spent years perfecting is now available as a subscription service. And what's not available as a subscription service is you. The specific perspective shaped by your specific history, the judgment built from your failures and recoveries, the instinct that comes from living through what you've lived through. See, that is what the armor has been covering. And that's exactly what this era is making most valuable. This week, do a reclamation inventory in writing, privately. Go back through your career and find the moments when you felt most fully alive in the work. Not most successful, but most alive. See, those moments are not nostalgia. They are the blueprint of who you are when the armor isn't yet fully in place. Write them down, then ask, what was true about me in those moments that is still true now? That is your reclamation starting point. The standardization trap has a specific mechanism, and understanding the mechanism is what makes it possible to interrupt. See, the trap works like this. Early in your career, you observe what gets rewarded. You internalize it. You begin to optimize it. The optimization works. You get promoted, recognized, advanced. But the optimization doesn't stop when you've advanced past the level where that particular behavior was required. It continues because the behavior has been internalized, because it has become your identity, because it is now what has shaped you and what that shape should occupy in every room you enter. And the more senior you become, the more your optimized behavior shapes the culture around you. You see, this is very important. You begin to reward others what was rewarded in you. You create, without intending to, the same standardization trap that is currently exhausting you. See, this is why the stakes of this work go beyond your own leadership. When you reclaim your individuality, when you practice the conviction to lead from who you actually are, you don't just transform your own experience. You change what's possible for everyone watching. You become evidence that leading differently is safe. And in an organizational culture where most people are waiting for that evidence, your practice is more important than you may realize. Now, here's what I want you to take away from our conversation today. The more you've adapted to fit the acceptable range, the more you've hidden the thing that makes you irreplaceable. The reclamation starts with naming what's been underneath the performance all along. The path from exhausted to unshakable isn't found all at once. It's earned through practice, one redirect at a time. Now, if this landed for you, my book, Earning Conviction, goes deeper into every practice we're exploring in this series. It's available where books are sold. In fact, you can learn more at theglennyopis.com. Keep going. Keep going. I'm Glenn Llopis. This is the Earning Conviction series. And remember, when you earn conviction, you will see things that others don't, do what others won't, and keep pushing when prudence says quit. Thanks for listening to Personalization Outbreak. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. If you enjoyed the content, visit ageofpersonalization.com to check out our free streaming video series and learn how to get involved in the movement. I'm Glenn Llopis. I wish you a good day, and remember, without strategy, change is merely substitution, not evolution.